Hey everyone again. So today's topic, I'm going to be talking about, um, in a sense, kind of our purpose, but also why we are lost and why we seem to not fit in with the culture, within other people, but mostly why we are lost, I believe, is because we're not connected to ourselves. So I have a list of things that I want to talk about as far as feelings of being lost and why we are in this place and position. So, the first one is going to be about connection with ourselves. And the biggest thing that I feel why an individual is lost is because they are not connected with themselves. They don't know themselves very well. And I feel this comes about because we are very distracted and we don't really dig into who we are and what we want. We don't really understand the bigger picture of what's inside. We have so many things outside of us that we think fulfill us and that we think are us. And I notice a lot of people use materialistic things to define them. Perhaps a certain style of clothing, a car, a particular lifestyle is shown, if it's shown through an individual, someone outside viewing that can say, "Oh, that's so you," or that's something you would totally like. We are associating external things to ourselves, but really it's all about what's inside and it's all about character. So if you lost all the external things that make you you, this should be an added value to your life, but it should not define you. It should be a perk, it should be a privilege. It should not define who you are as an individual. So I feel that this is why we get lost and we get wrapped up in the game of what society is. I'm looking at a list here, so I'm kind of looking to the side. So the other one is why we're lost is because we function off of the beliefs and the expectations of others. This is molded through expectations of our family, our parents, our siblings, our coworkers, our friends. I mean, the list is endless. And granted, this is why it's so important to have positive people in your circle. And to be quite frank and quite honest, I would rather have no one in my circle that were not contributing positively to my life, and I would rather learn about things and dig into who I am versus having individuals outside of me that I really can't connect with or relate to. It is a little bit lonely and there is isolation, but the end result is so magnificent. You just feel so connected with yourself. So we basically function off of other people's values and beliefs and their expectations. So, what does that do when we are so shaped by others? We lose a form of our identity and we lose a form of ourself, and we just struggle to find out who I am, where am I, what is this place that I've been put in, because we kind of get swirled into what we think we are. So, the other feeling as to why we're lost is probably a very good start. It's feelings of being overwhelmed, and this can lead into depression. But reasons why we might be lost are because we're feeling so overwhelmed by the world. We have all these things in society pushing and pulling. This ties in with the expectations, and we're just so overwhelmed, and also overwhelmed by endless possibilities in our culture. In America, you can do whatever you want. We have equality in a sense. I mean, I can open up a shop, I can open up a restaurant, I can open up anything. It's the determination and success of myself. There are, of course, racisms and prejudices and gender biases and all that good stuff, but essentially in America, we could do whatever we want. And these endless possibilities a few years ago overwhelmed me completely because I have different loves and different pulls in life, but it's really narrowing down what you want to do with your life. And that is very okay if it's going to change in 5 or 6 years. You just figure it out as you go. That can overwhelm you in itself. Like, you have so many different passions, but I don't know where to start. What should I study? Just go with what moves you at the moment and what feels right. If you like science when you're 20, go to school for that, or read books about science. And then when you're 30, if it's going to change, then just go with that. It's there's no feeling, there's no need to feel so overwhelmed about life. Granted, we can be, because there are so many options, like I said, but just really, really listen to who you are. And that in itself takes a lot of digging and a lot of honesty within yourself. So again, try to tune out what everyone expects out of you. And if you don't even know where to begin, start reading. See what you're interested in, what pulls you the most out of life. I noticed with me, I was very into the mind, and this is a complete, I can't stop learning about it. I'm interested in people and the mind, so this is my passion and my love. I'm also interested in mind-body connection, holistics, medicine. I'm interested in foods and healthy eating and exercise, which I need to do and get into again. It's really hard. I'm into learning, so I mean, I can't be dishonest with myself and say that I'm into ice skating, even though it's fun. It's not a part of who I am. Or I'm into football, or I'm into race car driving, or, these are things that we really need to zone in on. If some people, it could be makeup, it could be photography, it could be design, it could be exercise. We just have to really see what our conversations are about, really, and go from there, and I mean conversations, not short hello, hi. I mean meaningful conversations with your friend. If it's about relationships, if it's about, just, we got to zone in on that. And another reason why I think we're lost is because we are not, once we figure out that we are lost, we try to figure out different options and different ways to not make us lost. Oh, I will try this and I will try that. And this is a great, great way to start, just trying different things. And if you don't last for a long time in those things, and you know that you didn't like them, don't see it as failure. Just see it as a way of growing, as a way to figure out what interests you, quite honestly. And so we're really not going after what our heart wants. Tap into that. Just figure out different ways. Open up, broaden your circle of friends. See what everyone else is doing. See how they function. I think one of the most beautiful things that I'm realizing in my relationships that I have with people and friendships is that I don't see these people on a surface level. I can actually talk to them and be so intimately involved that sometimes I see their day-to-day, I know their inner heart, I know their spirit, and I think how beautiful that is. It's like when you're a kid and you spend so much time around your classmates. You know their flaws, you know their bad habits, you know who's funny, you know who's not, you know who's dramatic. And I just think that is such a beautiful aspect of life. It's so fantastic. And I just actually, that popped into my head 2 days ago. I'm like, wow, I feel so privileged to see these people on an intimate level, on a closer level. And I don't mean in a romantic sense, but that we can really see how these people live, and we can learn a lot from that. It doesn't mean that we need to take on what they're doing, but we could see what moves them and see where their motivation comes within, and we can aspire to be like that too at times. So another reason why I believe we're lost is because we have something to prove, either to the world, either to our family members, or to ourselves. And the most damaging thing that we can do is lie to ourselves. It is it's gonna have this empty void inside if we're not really going after what we want. And if we're in a career that we don't like and we're stuck in it, it happens so often with people that they're just so miserable and unhappy, and I can't see myself doing this for this amount of time. And well, if you can't see yourself doing it for this amount of time and it's creating some sort of emptiness inside you, what would be the best solution? You know, it's easier said than done, but the smaller changes that we make in our lives and the smaller shifts that we make, just one at a time, you know, reading things that interest us more, volunteering somewhere, just those tiny things that could give us a sense of more self, even if our jobs don't add that value to us. Step outside of the job aspect. If that's just going to be a moneymaker, then so be it. For a lot of people it is. They don't have a lot of their passion in there, but sometimes our jobs define who we are, but they don't need to. You know, it's such a big thing within our culture. Our occupation is who we are, which is crazy because it's like a job is a job and it's just a way to get money, really. And we can tie this into our values and our cores and what we want to do, but it could also just be money making. And if that's the case, then we're going to feel completely lost if we don't have anything outside of our jobs and what we do for a living, because that takes up most of our time and most of our energy. So it's so important to develop other loves and other hobbies that really really tie into your character and what you like. And a personal example was I was an assistant manager at a cafe for a little bit, and I did that for about a year and a half. And I'm really, really interested in leadership and somehow creating change. I just really believe that this is a purpose of mine, and it's just more about creating change and positive change in the world. And this, of course, is tied into who I am and what I would like out of my life. But also, I was just managing at this job and I was realizing so much. I realized the things that I did like about it and the things that it brought out of me, and the pros and the cons. I mean, I figured out that I really didn't like telling people what to do. I figured out more of myself. I realized that I was losing a lot of my life towards that job. What was I gaining out of it? Just a paycheck. Granted, I was learning a lot of social skills and learning how to run a restaurant, which was super beneficial. So if I ever wanted to do that in my lifetime, I feel confident in doing that. But it's important that we make choices that challenge us but coincide with the road that we want to take in life. And I'm talking about this being as our careers and our jobs, because we're going to be doing this for 50 years. You know, we're going to be working a lot. We're going to be working our whole lives. So we have to figure out something that we really enjoy. And this is another reason why we're lost. We're just not getting fulfillment out of our jobs anymore, or what we're doing out of our lives. So I don't know if I mentioned this, but I'll just repeat it. But trying to please others, that is, I've realized, one of the worst things that you could possibly do when you are trying to figure out your purpose or trying to find your place in the world or your identity. Trying to please others or fit a certain image towards another is so confusing and really devastating. I was in a relationship in my past where I admired the entrepreneurship in him, and I admired how he functioned and the independence that he had, but I was molding so much. I learned a lot from that. I realized that I can have a job where I can kind of have my own sense of self and have my own way of channeling my personal identity into my job. But I realized that I was taking on too much of what I thought that this person would like. And it was my significant other, so I really valued his opinion. But ultimately, your significant other has to accept you as you are. And the beautiful thing about, the beautiful thing about not pleasing others or trying not to is that you just feel like a intense satisfaction, and the best partner that you can probably find is the one that admires you and the one that motivates you with whatever you want to do. It doesn't have to tie into that person or what they're doing. It's just whatever moves you and whatever inspires you. So this is the reason why I think a lot of us are lost. We just try to figure out ways that shortcut ways in life that are going to make us happy. And I was notoriously known for doing this in my past. I would try to think of ways to make a quick buck, and I would, oh my God, I'm going to start this and I'm going to start that, and the ideas were there, and I would start them for like a day or two, and then I just like, no. But this is fun and exciting, but those things don't tie in very well to what you want out of life. It's just a way to make money, or a way to, I think the best way that we could truly be happy is just being honest with ourselves and letting everything else just pass by, and the people's opinions that you do value, make sure that they're positive and they contribute and they run parallel to who you are. It's not the idea that I only hear what I want to hear. It's having constructive criticism and feedback of your friends, and the friends that aren't just gonna say, oh, everything's fine, oh, that's good, like, good for you, good job. But you want those people that are going to be very honest with you, because those are the influences that you want in your life. And honesty is a bitch sometimes, but we need it. We need it. We need to say, hey, you need to get your shit together. You're falling off the rails. We need those type of influences in our life. So this is predominantly why I think we're lost. It is because we're not connected with ourselves. We function off of the beliefs and the expectations off each other. We feel overwhelmed by all the choices. We're not going after what our heart wants. We are trying to prove something to either ourselves, our significant other, our family, and we're getting lost in that. We're getting lost in the endless cycle of it, and we're just trying to please others. So those are my lists of things and why I think we are lost. And to take from this is, we can't always be on track and found, in a sense. We are going to have to get lost and derail for a second in order to get back up. But the more that we sit in our ideas and thoughts of, I can't get anywhere, I'm lost, just look at these two different scenarios. Say I'm Sarah A and Sarah B. Sarah A is, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. I know I like this and that, but there's so many things that are pushing and pulling at me. I can't figure out what it is. I know I like to do this, and I know I like to do that, but I'm just so overwhelmed. I don't even know myself. I don't even know where to begin. Okay? Or Sarah B is, I'm going to write a list of things down that I really enjoy, and I'm going to say, maybe I'll start reading a little bit about that. I'm interested in photography. Maybe I'll start opening up my circle and seeing if I could maybe go take a photography class, or maybe I could get information from a person about photography. Or how about Sarah B is saying, I have all these passions and loves. Let's just zone in on one for now. Or let me just really think about which one is calling me. There is a difference in these two voices, because there's one that's challenging yourself and who you are on the inside, and having steps and solutions to get there. And the other one is just so overwhelmed by their thoughts, and they feel incompetent and not confident that they don't even know where to begin. And granted, I've been on both sides of the spectrum. I think I'm more in the B area now, but that's because I was an A for so long. I got so frustrated and overwhelmed that I just said, okay, I need to start doing something about it. What is spinning in circles going to do? Absolutely nothing. So we need to really, really zone in on ourselves and dig deep and just start reading things, quite honestly. Open up your circle and see how people function in it, intimately. Go grab a cup of coffee with them. They would be so flattered if you ask them, hey, I want to pick your brain. Let's have a conversation. Or I'd like to see what you do. Let's go hang out. Let's do this. Let's do that. And not only do you build relationships with people, you get to see the lifestyles that they live, and you get to see what makes them happy. If they are happy, if those are the individuals that are doing what they really like, And the more that we can feed off of those energies versus all the people that are so overwhelmed and lost, we're just going to spin in that circle. But get a little bit outside of our element and try something new, try something different. Shift your mind, see things as a challenge instead of being so confused. And one of my really, really close girlfriends, actually, Nikki, hey, she talked about we focus on a lot of what we lack. And Nikki, that is so very true, because we're looking at a society or a system that is just focused on how to get more and more, and I want to be happier with this and that, and sky is the limit with what can make us happy. I can have 30 pairs of shoes and still want more, but being satisfied with what you have and having an appreciation for it in that moment is the most beautiful thing that we can give to ourselves. It's going to make us so happy, and it's going to separate us from the other individuals, I can guarantee you. And that energy, that character and energy is just going to exude, and other people are just going to want to be around you because you have such a nice aura and a good presence. So it's all about figuring out what we need to do. So that's my theory and ideas on why individuals are lost, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any criticism, constructive, or feedback, or things that you would, feelings of why you're lost or why you think you're lost, feel free to comment or text me or email me. I'm very open. I love these. I love engaging with you guys in these topics, so feel free to give me a ring or a chat or anything you prefer, okay? Thanks for listening. Bye.